What's up, world? It's Nasty Nate, and I want to welcome you back to the That Talk podcast. I hope everybody is doing well. The COVID-19 is starting to slow down a little bit. The lockdowns are starting to ease up. Things are starting to go back into motion. So that's good, but the riots are still going on. The protesting is still going on. I'm not really sure how I feel about all that yet. So I'm going to lay off that maybe for another episode. But, I hope everybody's staying safe, man. And I hope everybody's doing well. And I hope everybody's continuing to grind and put themselves in a position to better their tomorrow and to better where they want to be. But today, I want to talk about something that is just near and dear to my heart. And I want to talk about That Wasn't Shit. That Wasn't Shit is so important to me. And people, I feel like people don't really understand it, and people don't really grasp like what That Wasn't Shit means to me, because back in the day when I started That Wasn't Shit, I want to say it was like 2015. Almost been rocking that for 5 years now, which is really crazy. But I started rocking it really heavy, obviously now with the shirts and all that. But when I first got with That Wasn't Shit, it was a very interesting time in my life. I was actually battling an alcohol dependency, a lot of dependencies, man. I had an affirmation and a instant gratification dependency. Anything that would give me like a quick fix, man. I was like an addict, and my choice of that was women, which, a lot of men deal with, but we all deal with some form of instant gratification. I just so happened to use women and alcohol as my outlet at that time. And so I really got to the point where I was so unhappy, and also too, I was so mentally unhealthy, but nobody knew because I was so physically healthy, right? We only work on the flesh. We only see the outside, which to me, I've done that mental work, and I know that, the true growth and the true, who you truly are nothing on the outside reflects that. Nothing on the outside reflects who you truly are, which is why, right now, I don't even want to get into this, but right now, what's so confusing to me and why, I've really been staying out of the talk about the riots and the protesting and all that, because I am so confused why we are still talking about what people look like. Like, every person in this world to me is just a male or just a female, or just however they want to identify is what they are to me. Like, I don't care what you are. I don't care because I went through that. Everything that I was involved in, everything that I thought was going to make me make it or whatever, or make me successful, was about what the fuck was on the outside. Like, it didn't matter how much money I actually had in my bank account. It mattered how much money it looked like I had because I was wearing it. I had to have this much clothes and this bunch of bullshit. I had to have 2 bikes because I had to make it look like I was doing something, because I was so insecure and I was so worried about what people thought about me. I had to make it look like I was doing something instead of actually doing something. So as I was going through this alcohol dependency, and I got to the point where I looked at my homie one time and I was like, bro, I don't know if I can quit. Like, this thing has got a hold of me. Like, I feel so good when I'm drinking. I feel so good when I'm drunk, when I'm blacked out and I pass out. I don't feel anything. I don't think about the things that I'm trying to avoid. I think I found something. And the problem is that I had found this gap in my life that I knew was there, but I had alcohol filling the gap. I had women filling the gap. I had marijuana filling the gap. Like, I had all these things filling this gap that could only be filled by me to be fulfilled. But I was choosing to fill them with, like I said, a bunch of bullshit. And all of that came along with it. And whatever I do, and this is one thing that's always been steady about me, is whatever I do it, I go hard. Like, if I'm going to go to the parties, I'm going dripped out. Like, you're not going to catch me, and this was back in the day, you're not going to catch me going to a party not looking fly. If I'm going to the party to get drunk, I'm getting fucked up because I go hard. And everything I do, I go hard. But clearly not always a good thing. So I had to start drawing those lines. But, really that wasn't shit. Came from me beating that alcohol dependency and me beating thoughts of suicide. And the alcohol never came back, but the thoughts of suicide crept back in. I would have these episodes every so often, like I said, and people never knew, man, because everybody's all worried about the outside. Nate looking good, Nate's riding good, Nate got 2 bikes, Nate got 40 pairs of J's, Nate's got a good job, Nate's a bartender, Nate's got girls. Bro, I wanted to kill myself. And that's why I preach this self-development. And that's why I feel like this is so important and something that we lack so much. Something that we don't focus on is the inner work that needs to be done. And so when I put down the bottle, because I did, man, I drank from about 20 or so to about 22 or 23, and then I stopped completely. Since 23, so in the last 5 years or so, I've drank a handful of times, maybe like 10 times in the last 5 years. And I mean just a drink or two. So when I beat that, I was like, man, like after, because there's that first initial, anybody that's ever gotten over an addiction, we all get over them. To me, a habit is an addiction. Like when you wake up every single day and the first thing you do is look at your phone, that's an addiction. That's not a bad habit. That's an addiction. And when you get over those first humps, because it's hard, man. When you get into something like that, it is so hard, especially something that, for me, was filling a gap that I didn't want to deal with. And I realized that nobody, no person, no material, no activity, no thing can completely, I won't say can't, but cannot completely fill the gaps that need to be filled by you. Sure, we have temporary, short-term ways to do it. We drink, we do drugs, women, motorcycles, which is, it's crazy, but not a lot of riders think about that. Not a lot of riders think about that this bike, if you have stuff that you're not facing, is a temporary escape, just like any other drug. Just like any other form of instant gratification. Honestly, I had taken a break from the bike last year because I was like, man, somebody asked me, a question that, I'm sure I've been asked a million times, but for some reason the question just hit different. Like, how are you okay with being so reckless? And I kind of sat back, and I guess I love riding so much, and I love doing wheelies so much that I never really thought about it. Like, sometimes, man, we're going down the highway 60 miles an hour. Like, there's so much that could go wrong. And it's crazy because, like I said, I took a little bit, last year. I took it easy on the bike, and I felt like I kind of needed an answer to that question. Like, why am I okay with that? Is it because I love it, or is it because what was scary is I had a thought, and I was like, am I using the bike as another filler? And because I didn't know the answer, I wanted to find out. Like, if I had a guarantee, like, no, I love it. Like, of course I love riding, but is that 100% the reason that I'm doing what I'm doing? Or is it because I'm trying to match my inner energy that I feel with my outside actions of being reckless? And, I don't know. I'm just go out and I got so much on my mind that the only thing that keeps my mind off of my life is doing something like that. And I had to really think about that, and I contemplated that question, that answer for a long time. And I finally realized, like, I ride so much more cautiously. Like, I don't really ride streets that much anymore. I try to just stay in the lot, because to me it's the same damn thing. But that's where that wasn't shit came from. I know I got off track a little bit, but that wasn't shit came from after I beat that alcohol dependency, and it wasn't that bad. I was like, damn, like, that wasn't shit. Like, I had something that I had put on a pedestal, and that's what we do. We put these things that we were facing, like, I can't beat the drugs, I can't beat the alcohol, I can't give up, this relationship, I can't give up this form of instant gratification, I just can't stay off Instagram, I can't stay off my phone. And we put it on this pedestal, and we make it stronger than us. You've already lost the fight. If you make whatever you're battling in your head stronger than you, the fight is already over before you even get in the ring. You have to tell I had to tell myself, no, Nate, you can do it, Nate. You can beat this shit. It's not that bad, bro. It's not that bad. You are stronger than a liquid. Like, break it down. Like, challenge yourself against whatever you're working on. You're not stronger than your phone. Apple got a hold of you that much? Patron got a hold of you that much? For me, Absolute got a hold of you that much? You can't give it up? And I beat it, and I was like, wow, what, like, that wasn't that bad. And then, I don't know, something about it just hit me. I was like, damn, that wasn't shit. Like, that's nothing. Like, what else? What else can I beat? I started looking around for things I could beat. And then, one day, I'll never forget, when I jumped a high chair, to me, it was like the holy grail. Because I was like, me and a couple other people were doing it at that time in second year. And I was like, I built it up in my head ever since I started riding. I was like, man, I have to do this. I have to do this. But only the elite riders can do it. Like, I had already put myself out of the game before I even tried. Before I'd even made an attempt, I was already losing, because I was like, that trick is not for me yet, because I have to become this before I can do it. And we do that. That type of money is not for me yet, because I don't deserve it. You make excuses, and when you're making your excuses, you're telling yourself you don't deserve it. Why don't you deserve that kind of money? Why don't you deserve that kind of woman? Why don't you deserve that kind of man? Your actions right now probably don't say that you deserve what you want. But if you change your actions and you change your perspective, you deserve whatever you want. So when I was like, one day I was like, yo, why can't I do that? Second attempt, feet go through the bars. My first reaction was, damn, like, that wasn't shit. I had built it up. I had built it up in my head. Stop putting your challenges on a pedestal. Stop putting your challenges. Stop giving them more power than you. The fight is done mentally before it's done physically. Before you can even take a step, before you can even put your foot in the ring, before you can step onto that field, before you step in the gym, before you get on the bike, the fight is won or lost before you even begin. If I think I'm going to crash, I'm going down. If I think I can't get that job, I'm not going to get it. If I think I can't make that kind of money, I'm not going to get it. So what we do is, when we tell ourselves we can't, you stop the actions. So right now, like I've talked about before, I want to do YouTube. I'm growing little by little by little by little. But if I look at the numbers and I say, I can't get 10K subs this year because I'm only at 427. I just lost, because I'm going to do what a 427 subscriber YouTuber does, not what a 10K subscriber YouTube does. That's it right there. If you want $10,000 a month, find out what somebody that makes 10. Bro, and it's an ego thing. We got to drop the ego again, because listen, every time I walk by, I love trucks. Every time I walk by a truck that I see that I like, I ask the person, what do you do for a living? I personally have the money, have the finances, have the down payment, have the income to buy whatever truck I want, but I don't like balling like that. I don't like flexing like that, because I feel like I should buy it with cash. So when I see what I want, I ask the people, what do you do? What do you do to own that $60,000 truck? What do you do for work? If I find out something that's near my avenue, I'm like, okay, what's your schedule look like? How many hours a week do you work? What do you do in the morning? Do you have time for coffee? Do whatever it is that you want. Go with those actions. But first, you have to make sure that you're not putting that on a pedestal. And so that's what That Wasn't Shit came from, is I realized that if I kept telling myself what I'm currently going through, a bad day, a rainy season, a couple of bad days, a couple of bad weeks, a couple of bad months, I'm going to make it through. Everything that I thought that I wasn't going to make it through before, I'm still sitting here right now. And that wasn't shit. And everything that I succeed in, everything that I set out to do and I conquer, it's not the end of the game. The win is not the end of the game. The win is just the beginning. And that's what they both are. The L that you take, that wasn't shit. That's the beginning of the game. The win, the W, that is the beginning of the game. That wasn't shit. That's how you keep progressing in your life. So That Wasn't Shit is about constant progression. That Wasn't Shit isn't just for me. That Wasn't Shit is for everybody. Everybody has been through a situation in their life where they thought that they weren't going to make it through. And guess what? You sitting here right now. That wasn't shit. Everybody has done something that you were kind of like, man, I feel like I can do that, but I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure if I can do that, to be honest. And you may have failed. But guess what? If you failed, that wasn't shit. Get back up and do it again. If you beat it, you put it on a pedestal. And now that you've beat it, that wasn't shit. It is a lifestyle. Life continues to go no matter what. It is a constant flow. There's no such thing as too low, and there's no such thing as too high. Remember that. Your potential can keep stretching. Your potential can keep stretching every time you get a W, every time you win, every time you get a pay grade, every time you get a pay raise, every time you level up in your life, every time you level up in a business, every time you level up in a relationship, every time you level up on the bike. That wasn't shit. Keep going. When you fail, that wasn't shit. That wasn't shit.